guys, it's Sarah from Just My Typewriter, and I'm dressed like a car mechanic today for one very simple reason. It is time for another bad typewriter craft. So if you guys have been on this channel before, you've noticed that I've done a couple crafting videos involving typewriters. I've tried typing on coffee cups, on book pages, I've tried junk journaling, and I've even tried making my own cardboard typewriter. But today I want to try something else that is related to typewriters, and that would be a piece of wearable typewriter art. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen on the internet a lot of typewriter jewelry, and those can involve typewriter keys that end up on bracelets, necklaces, or earrings. And I've even promoted on my own channel typewriter jewelry as a gift for Christmas. Now, I want to make a full disclaimer here. I'm not really sure where I stand on the subject, but there are a lot of people in the typewriter community who are super against any typewriter key jewelry. And that's because people who make those kind of jewelry pieces might be harvesting them from machines who could be possibly fixed. And there's only a limited number of typewriters left in the world because nobody's making new ones. So because of that, I wanted to find a different way to integrate typewriters into jewelry. I like wearing earrings, and so do a lot of my family members, so I found these little earring stud pieces on Amazon that you can lay something inside of and then clear coat on top, and that'll keep the earrings safe. And I think it'd be really cool to involve typewriter art or typewriter text within those kind of earrings, so you can wear a piece of typewriter jewelry that hasn't hurt any typewriters in the process. So because I'm a researcher, I decided to do some intensive testing to see how I wanted to do these jewelry pieces. So I entered the lab of typewriter science. I decided to start with some tests and figure out what kind of font I wanted to put in those earring pieces. I started by testing Edgar, my Royal, KMH, KHM, KM&M, I don't really know. And then I also tried doing some text on an IBM Selectric named Holden and on Webster, my Smith Corona Classic 12. What I really liked about Edgar's typing was how I was able to make cat designs in a pretty small, concise space. Hey there, have you ever wanted a tutorial on how to do another thing while learning a tutorial for a completely other subject? Well, here's your chance. So here's how to make typewriter cats. You want to start by rolling your paper through your typewriter and typing a small v, an underscore, and then another lowercase v. This will act as your ears for your typewriter cat. Then, roll your paper in backwards through the typewriter, so now your V's are upside down. Line your text up now underneath those upside down V's and type parentheses, period, period, close parentheses. Now you've got a typewriter cat. I also wanted to try some text inside these earrings because I think that's really cool too. So I decided to try out some text samples on Edgar, Holden, and Webster, and I found that I really liked how consistent the spacing was on the IBM Selectric, but it didn't really look like typewriter font because it's a different kind of machine. So I decided I really like the text on Webster, my Smith Corona Classic 12. So between these tests, I decided which two typewriters I wanted to use to make the inserts for these. Now the next part of this process is figuring out what kind of adhesive and clear coat I want to put on the top of these earrings. I've watched some videos on this, and I'm thinking that resin is probably the way to go, but I am not a safe scientist. I burn myself on hot glue guns, and I don't trust myself with chemicals. So I wanted to come up with a different way to fill in those earring pieces that did not involve resin. So I watched a couple of videos on YouTube that I've linked below, and I thought that I could do this with hot glue, because, I'm a hot glue expert. I'm burning plastic. I found if you want to use hot glue to cover up stuff, but also keep a clear coat on top of it, you need really clear hot glue. I unfortunately do not have clear hot glue here at home. I did some tests with this, and you can still read the text underneath, but they look pretty yellow. I also have Mod Podge in my craft cupboard, which you can use to lay images together and kind of make a collage. It also can clear coat things as well. But I found that you have to use some kind of brush or, your finger to get it in there, and it really does kind of leave spaces in it and doesn't make like a clear, shiny surface like you can get with the hot glue. I also tried nail polish because I have a lot of that around here, and I found that you can use the clear nail polish on top and it'll really seal in what you have and not make the paper too dark or smudge anything, but you'd have to use a lot to fill up that gap in the earring, and I don't know if I'm willing to sacrifice that much of my top coat to cover up some earrings. But I do like what happens when you put a glitter top coat on top of the text. It makes it kind of cool looking, so I might try that for some of my earrings. So I decided to go with this glue, and this is some Elmer's washable clear glue. Now, I don't know what happens when you get it wet, so maybe just don't take a shower with these earrings, but I definitely think that's probably the clearest I can get to cover up something and also fill up the amount of gapping in those earrings. So with my typewriters figured out and my clear adhesive figured out, it's time to put together some earrings.
So here's that process. I started by typing out everything I wanted to be in my earrings on my typewriters. Then, using the earrings that I've separated out by size, I was able to trace the outside of the earring on the paper to determine what I needed to cut. Turns out that when you're tracing the outside of the earring, it's a lot bigger than the inside, so I had to trim inside of the circles to make them small enough. Then, using my fingernails, I was actually able to push the inside of the earring piece inside of the lip on the earring. Then I stuffed them in styrofoam and filled them with glue.
So now that I've got these earrings figured out, pieced together, and glued, let's take a look at the final products. Now, I'm surprised at actually how nice these turned out, considering that they could have been really bad, i.e. example of the cardboard typewriter on my channel. But, typewriter crafting can go either way, and I really enjoyed the process of making these and being able to make something that I could give to somebody else that's actually usable. In the coffee cup experiment, you can't really use those coffee cups afterwards because you have to hot glue them back together. But the nice thing about these is that they're really safe to wear. If you want to see some more typewriter content, be sure to subscribe to this channel and check out me on Instagram at just.my.typewriter. I want to thank you guys so much for watching today and remind you that you're just my typewriter.